My name's Rich, welcome back to Me, My Bike and I. Today I'm going to remove the valves and the rockers from the cylinder heads on the Honda VF750F engine. It's over there on the bench, or bits of it. Everything looks okay on the surface, inside the combustion chambers anyway, and we shall just get all these valves out, inspect them, clean them, lap them in. These of course need a jolly good clean up. So let me just, seem to be missing a dowel from there, that must be in the crankcase. Let me go and check. Just avoid crushing it. Stick that in the top case. Let's firstly see how easy this is to remove. Christ, that's really stuck. It's well and truly on there. Bit of paint. Crikey, has that been glued on? That there is right, this is the number 2 cylinder actually, and you can see the state of it. It's quite possibly the source of where water is getting across from the water jacket into the crankcase. It's pretty poor all round, but yeah, at least we're starting to see some real world evidence. All these surfaces are going to need a really good clean. Not surprising really, I had low compression and moisture in the crankcase, is it? So good that you can see actual problems. If that had come off cleanly and nicely, I've still been at a loss as to what the problem was. So anyway, what I'm going to do is turn these on end and start getting all these valves out. Tricky part of course is we've got 16 valves across the 2 cylinder heads, so labelling all of those up to get them back in the correct position is going to be paramount. I'm not so worried about all the springs and rockers and things like that, because all of those parts are just part of the adjustable train, but valves are definitely best put back in the original guide, so certainly going to be making a little cardboard template to record the positions of these anyway. So anyway, let's get on with it. So I've just made up a little storage container. So I've got 16 little cells here. So cylinders 1, intake and exhaust, 2, intake and exhaust, same with 3, same with 4. So the exhaust intake valves will all be in their relative location, so can't really go wrong. I can keep absolutely everything together. I'll probably still bag things just to stop things going astray, but at least I'll be able to keep them separated in order really easily. So yeah, let's get the valve spring compressor out, or one of them anyway. Okay, I'm going to start with cylinder number 2 and exhaust side first, which are the outer 2. Let's just flip this thing on its side if it's all possible to stand up. So the exhaust are the ones at the bottom there, you can see that because they're smaller. A bit of a giveaway. So let's just move the rocker arm out of the way, that shouldn't get in the way. This is the compressor I'm going to give it a go with this time. I've got a couple of different compressors. That just comes around the top of the spring, should just sit on the top of the spring, got various sizes, and that end just pushes on the back of the valve, or the valve face if you like, and then as it pulls it all together, where are we? You should be able to see the collets in the middle there. We should be able to release those and it'll all just come apart. This is not the best compressor that I've got, to be fair, but does the job. As long as it does the job, I mean, should be okay. Right. See that? So as soon as I release all that, now the spring and the seats and retainers can all just come straight out, and then the valve stem will just slide down through the guide and out will come the valve. I think the retainer must have just come away with the compressor. Let me quickly have a look. Yep. Right, so all that's left to do is push the valve stem through, get the valve out. That is the valve stem seal right there. We'll just ply that off afterwards, that'll get replaced anyway. And then at the very base there is the valve spring seat. You can see it's actually, it looks like it's two components, because you've got an inner and an outer spring. That's the first one. Give that a push. Pull it through from that side, nice and smooth. That's essentially it for that one valve. Just need to remove that stem seal off the top there. You just pull off with a pair of needle nose pliers and replace with new. And so that is one of the two exhaust valves on the number 2 cylinder, the other one being next to it. You have 2 exhaust and 2 intake per cylinder, of course. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all of the other 7 out of this head and the 8 out of the other head, and get them all into their little safe haven of the compartment I just made. Nice easy job though. Just that's all it is. You just got the 2 different seats there, because it's an inner and an outer spring. That is the retainer at the top, those are the collets, and that's your valve. Looking pretty good, to be fair. No damage to it. The actual face is looking reasonable. It's probably a bit blurry. Looking okay. That'll just need lapping back in, really. No particular issues that I can see there. All of the faces, because you can see it's more than just one face there, it's like 2 or 3, all looking pretty good, not particularly carbonised. We're of course on the number 2 cylinder, so that was the one with very low compression. You might be expecting to see some carbon build up on that face. You can get a better look at them of course when they're all out, and it's a better comparison between the different seats. But yeah, just a lap back in by the looks of it, I think. Anyway, let me go and get all 7 of the others out and the 8 on the other head. But this will keep them all nicely together. Last one then. Those collets look pretty clear. 1, 2. I think I shall use my other ring compressor when I put all this back, because this one's not particularly strong actually. It's starting to bend, which is making the 2 sides go out of alignment really, which is making it a bit tricky to keep everything running true as I'm compressing the spring. But anyway, so this is the inner exhaust valve on number 1. Just removing the spring seats, which are just a little fiddly. Managed to get my technique. There's not much to it. Just flip this over and pull the valve out. And every single valve that I've taken out has come out without any effort, so damaged. Every single one of them have had either an absolute ton load of carbon deposits on the back, or they've been fairly clear like this one. Not on the actual face itself, but just on the back side. Mostly the intake actually, probably. This is an exhaust valve. So just bagging up the little bits, so both the spring seats, the 2 collets, the retainer, and as you can see, that just makes sure everything stays exactly where it should. So everything goes back exactly where it should. Yeah, it's just a bit out of alignment, so I think I'm going to heat it and straighten it. But I'll definitely use my other one for putting everything back, because that's a little bit more fiddly than getting things out. Okay, just going to pull the gasket off this one. Still got both dowels in this head actually, and the dowels on this one clearly came out with the upper case, so I might just move these, as I'm going to need to clean off the top of this gasket anyway, as in clean the gasket off the actual top of the head. So let's see if we can pull this off anyway. Got it all resting on this block of wood. It's a good indication, isn't it, that this wasn't feeling very well, this gasket, when it's so stuck to the surface that it's clearly disintegrating in some way. I guess that's held on with carbon and all sorts. Who knows? Let me get a scraper. Not sure this is going to do the job that well, but the other one came off fairly quickly when I started tugging at it, so don't want to damage the mating surface is the issue. Blimey, I've never made a gasket like this before, and it's really glued on there. careful because it gets in between the aluminium and the actual gasket, okay, but you can so easily dig into the metal. It's coming slowly but surely. Just got to be super careful. See if I can just pull those out. I need to heat it, but let's just try it with some pliers. Just want to avoid putting any heat on the heads if I can, just from a uniformity. Oh, there you go, that came out all right. That one should be okay too, I would have thought. And this is probably the moment where I say there's always one. Right, yeah, let's put a little bit of heat on that. Just to warm it a little. I'm still stuck in there. There's a danger. There's a danger I will take this out of round and then I'll have to replace it, but that's fine. That's not going to grab it at all. Now, just had a quick look at all my internal pullers, and I have got one small enough, but it's not quite long enough, so yeah, we'll go without. If I cut that out, is that going to cause me a problem if I just drill a little hole through it? Let's drill a little hole through it. Centre punch it first. Pull it off at an angle there. Just try from that angle actually. I'm probably going to muller this so much I'll have to replace it anyway, but you know, need to get it out, so. Okay, that should do it. Right, I don't think my cordless is going to be up to it, so I might have to get the power drill out, but I'll just give it a go. Carbide drill, so no problem there, it's just the speed really. Now let's get a power drill. Anyway, yeah, using a 4mm carbide bit. So just need to make sure the drill chuck's good and tight. So otherwise it will just do what it just did there. Spin out on me. I think it's fair to say I'm going to need to replace that. So just remind yourself when you're working on engines and you're not sure how to do something, there's always a way, and it is just lumps of metal, and the whole process end to end is just nuts, bolts and spanners, and anyone can do it. It will fight you, but it will lose. To be honest, I'm probably just going to grind that off and stick it back in on reassembly, because it's just an alignment pin, hole through the middle of it. It's not going to cause any harm at all. Looks perfectly straight to me. Right, yeah, there's quite a lot of carbon build up in there, so these are going to need a real good clean up anyway. All of them very much the same. Intake definitely looked more carbonised than the exhaust, I have to say. So that's the intake. And then it's looking great, obviously, but anyway. The final disassembly job on these then is to remove the rocker arms. So that's a fairly straightforward process. Now you've got a shared rocker for each exhaust and intake valve. So if we do, we'll just start with this one, and then when you matter, where are we on the rear here? So this must be number 3. So we're on the exhaust for number 3. Let's take that off. It's just what looks like a 12mm Allen there. Oh no, that's not 12. Maybe 10. Yeah, that's 10. So I've got a 1/2 inch drive on that. Let's get my breaker bar on it. Probably complete overkill, but it's holding it, isn't it? Right, turn it towards me. Yeah, I need to get something shorter so I can get a better fulcrum. This is my ratchet with my 1/2 inch drive on it. So, okay, impact. Get a hammer on it. No, that's not going to like it. Okay. All right. Let's get the impact driver on it. It's these kind of things that you, in retrospect, you think, or retrospect, hindsight. In hindsight, you think, oh, it wouldn't have been better if I'd have done that when I was on the bike, but you know, I didn't. Okay. Sometimes you just have to bring out the big guns, don't you? Okay. Must be missing something, because that Oh no, I thought it didn't want to come out, but you just need to twist it. Just stick it in the, well, one of the two number 3 exhaust pots. It can go in one of the number 3 intake pots. Intake on number 4. Exhaust number 2. And then last but not least, intake on number 2. I might have said last but not least, so this will be the final last but not least, just the valve stem guides to come out, all 16 of them. These are just very pliable, so they're never any trouble generally. Can't really do any harm in here in these internal casings, because it's just you don't go whacking into any mating surfaces, of course. Some of them aren't quite playing the game. Gotta be careful, because everything I end up leaning against or is like the cam journals or the case mating surface. There you go, that came off. Just a wire. Sure, I can fish that out with a magnet and a bit of steel wire. Okay, that's them all done. As in those 4. Anyway, let me do the other 12. There you have it. They shouldn't all really disintegrate like that, but if they're very old, then it's no surprise really, but they're still looking in pretty good condition, to be fair. Every one of those stems, all 16 of them, were sliding in and out of those guides nicely. There was no play, very smooth, no wear, so all very good. Yeah, so yeah, you can see some of these valves are in pretty good condition. Well, they're all, no, sorry, they're all in good condition. The stems are beautiful. There's no damage to any of the valves at all, or the valve seats. They are quite carbonised on the seats and on the back of the valves, and that will have an effect on the compression. This one is the well, one of the number 2 exhaust valves, which is quite clean. Stems are all very good. This is one of the number 4 cylinder intake valves, and you can see there's a lot more carbon on the back there. I think I mentioned the intake valves seem to be a lot more carbonised than the exhaust, but that should all clean off. Again, very good condition. The actual back of the valve there is pretty good, but I should just get these onto a wire wheel, they'll be fine. Number 3 exhaust, it's probably the cleanest one there. Again, nothing on the back of the valve whatsoever. And both of the number 3 intakes, that one is probably the worst. Actually, you can see it's crumbling off. I mean, that would affect compression significantly if that got onto the face, which there's considerable amounts of. And believe it or not, all of the number 1, 2, 3 and 4 intake valves, despite my best efforts, are mixed up. Well, that brings me to the end of this video. I just want to pull the heads apart to inspect all the valves, and there is not a whole heap load of wear on anything in this engine. Everything's looking pretty good. All those valves looked pretty good, if not just very heavily carbonised, and that in itself would have been contributing to one of the issues that I had with this engine. So just recalling that I took this engine apart because I had low compression across all 4 cylinders. So number 1, 3 and 4 were around about 168 psi, should be around about 210, 215, something like that. That in itself not an issue, wouldn't cause any running problems whatsoever, except cylinder number 2 had about 140 something psi. So there's a clear issue there. It's not just general wear and tear. So having removed the heads, of course, I could see really bad head gaskets, and that would have been contributing to low compression in all cylinders, and especially number 2, but would have also been contributing to the water I was getting into the crankcases. Hopefully it's nothing to do with the water pump. So there were a couple of other issues with this engine. Very, very tight valves indeed. That would have caused the valves to hang, low compression, and of course all that carbon on the back of those valves, of course that will contribute to it, because the valve seats and the backs of those valves were very heavily built up with carbon. So hopefully clean all of that up, get all the blocks and cases cleaned up, and that will eradicate hopefully all of those problems. So in the next video I'm going to do some cleaning, paint stripping, get them all prepared, get the surfaces cleaned off, get them sent off for vapor blasting, something I can do, and then hopefully they'll be in a far better condition to go back together and give me a very nicely running engine. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and hit the bell, and I will see you next time.